Lifestyle, yeah. What is your lifestyle? Do you just work, go home, take care of the family? It's a great lifestyle. But do you take care of yourself? Because when you take care of yourself, you can take care of others better. And this leads me to the topic of my discussion tonight, which is a bad back. Over 60% of the disability cases in the United States are due to a bad back. So, can they be avoided? Like the president talks about saving all this money and stopping all this unnecessary spending. There's a lot of spending, you know, by insurance companies and by the government that has to pay these insurance companies. And these insurance companies that have to pay doctors because of a bad back. So is it necessary to have a bad back? Is it a lifestyle choice to have a bad back? It isn't. You know, people have to work. I worked for a living many years trying to find a job, but I'm not going to get into this, to that. I'm going to talk about bad back. One of the main ways to avoid a bad back is to have good body awareness of your posture and of your movement, and to strengthen your abdominals and your hips, and of course your back. So you don't really have to primarily lift heavy, but you have to lift correctly. It's just like having a method, a technique of the right technique of lifting something. You lift it incorrectly over and over again, you're going to wear and tear your back, a lot more and a lot faster. So why do that? Why not learn how to live properly? What is this thing, the slogan about just go out and do it? Yeah, doing it is important, but doing it right, knowing how to lift something to avoid a bad back is very important. And I can guarantee you that 99.9% of people on here need to learn how to lift correctly from the floor. Because there's a lot of people saying that you could bend and you could round your back, and that's not the correct way to lift. Because the strongest muscle in your body is your butt. So if you're rounding your back, you're shortening the muscles and you're reducing the involvement of the butt muscles in lifting. The way when you round your back, you're not hinging back and you're not utilizing the glute muscles, which hinge back. The glutes function is to hinge back to extend the hips. Come up. What's that? What's F dub? What do you mean? I'm not quite sure what you mean. U2B, I'm not sure what you mean. Thanks for tuning in. Talking about the bad back. It's not like sounds like a movie, right? The bad back. They should make a movie about this. The bad back. I was going to my job and I was driving and I turned the corner and I seen a shadow and it was a bad back. Avoid the bad back. Bad backs are bad. So yeah, listen, you want to avoid the bad back. Learn how to lift right, hinge right. You know how you learn how to lift something from the floor? Yeah. Okay. What you're gonna do is you're going to stand in front of a wall with your chest and your knees in contact with the wall. Then you lift down and you try to you lower your hands and you try to reach your 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 feet. You automatically notice that you have to pull your hips back and keep your back straight and your chest up. That's the correct way to lift something from the floor. So again, You stand with your chest and your knees in contact with the wall, and then you slide. You try to slide your hands down. You try to reach your feet while keeping your chest and your knees in contact with the wall. This will keep you how to, it will teach you how to keep your back straight and move your hips back while lifting something. It's called, well, I forgot what it's called, but basically, as I described, you keep your chest and your knees and your feet in contact with the wall, facing the wall, and you reach down with your hands, try to touch your feet while making sure that you keep your chest, your knees, and your feet in contact with the wall. I don't know. I'm talking about bad back. So, anyway, you got to know that every time that you bend down to pick something up, there's over 1,000, this is true, 1,000 pounds of pressure on your spine. So, how can your spine take that? I'll tell you why, because your ligament in your spine is strong as a steel cable. You could bend that, you could bend that ligament, you could pull on it, and it's not going to break. The ligament of the spine is one of the strongest things in your body. But the disc aren't, the spinal disc aren't. So when the spinal discs break, then the disc are going to get worn out and you're going to have a bad back and you're not going to be able to stand up straight. And that's a bad thing. It's not a good thing. Because a lot of things in life require you to stand up straight, sit up straight, walking straight. I mean, you can't walk from one place to another fast if you're always hunched down because you're going to be wasting a lot of movement. You're going to be moving towards, down instead of moving your body forward because you're leaning forward, right? You're not going to be able to lift your legs as high when you're leaning forward. So you want to learn how to stand up straight. Can't do that if you have a bad back. You got to learn how to exercise properly. One of the things that you do in exercise is when you get up in the morning, you stretch and you do back exercises to warm up. There's something called a Superman. It's one of the best exercises you can do for your back and the bridges. Both are done on a mat. Again, Superman, you lie face down on the mat, slowly roll your chest up. You don't yank your head up. You roll your chest up, keep your chin down. And your chest comes off the mat. This is called a Superman. It's great for your back. A bridge, you lie on your back with your feet on the mat. Slowly raise your hips off the ground just a little bit. You don't have to go all the way up. It's called a bridge. So how many of us do this before going out and working? Everybody just runs out and work. They don't warm up. They don't stretch. You should take it's only 15 minutes. Do a couple of Supermans. Do a couple of bridges on the mat. Warm up your back and your hips. Then you could go out and you could work more. Before you go out and work, and you should do a little stretching. It's warming up your body. 15 minutes. That's all it takes, 15 minutes. But how many of us do that? You can avoid a bad back just by taking 15 minutes to warm up before you go to work. Another thing is sitting down too much, but a lot of people don't sit down, which is good. But if you do have to sit down like I'm doing now, it's not really good. You should have like a reclining chair that's like 120 degrees back so it's not a 90-degree chair, it's 120 degrees where you can lean back. That'll remove a lot of the weight that's compressing your lower back if you have a chair that's leaning back. It's very important. But, I'm going to stand up because sitting down is not good for your back. Or you watch the incredible, hey, how you doing? Look, Javid or Rashad, how you doing? Javid, it's been a while. How you been? I love the Hulk. You know, the Hulk, he had this incredible, when he got mad, he had the adrenaline kicked in and then transformed his body. You know, adrenaline is the source of life. You know, and the thing is that oh, your hormones and the adrenaline, things like that, could function a lot better when you stand up. So I'm standing up now because, Rashid, because sitting down is not really good. I sit down too much. You know why I sit down? Because I eat, you know, I got bad digestion and I can't, and it hurts to stand up. But I'm going to stand up because, you know, sitting down, too much sitting down is no good for you. Yeah. How you been, Javid, Rashid? So, you know, back, the back is really part of your stomach muscles. Do you know that your core muscles are attached to your back muscles? Yeah. Transverse abdominals. It's like a ring. It's like a belt around, and the inside underneath your abdominals is attached to your back muscles. Yeah. And it's called the transverse in the core muscles. They're right underneath your abdominals and your lower back. They work together. So if you strengthen your stomach muscles, you also strengthening your back. Like I said, one of the best things you can do to strengthen your stomach muscles is to do bridges on the ground, and then you could progress to do planks and utilizing the mat to do a lot of exercises for your stomach, like bicycles, right? Bicycle crunches, leg lifts. You could do planks. Very important, you know. And you can even like get an incline board when you get strong and you do leg raises on an incline board. One of the best exercises that I've done really helped me a lot. You know, if you watch my videos, I like to do leg races, hanging leg races, but it's very advanced, and you really have to have strong abdominals and a strong back to do that too. Well, anyway, anyone who's watching, please take 15 minutes to warm up your back and your stomach muscles and your hips before going to work in the morning. It's going to help prevent a bad back. And you could take another 15 minutes at night before you go to bed. And again, do some bridges and supermans before you go to bed if you want to avoid a bad back. So, does anyone have any questions on how to avoid a bad back? Like I said, a bad back is like a bad movie. You don't want a bad back.